Obviously, there is a backlash, and many people are saying that this signifies the attempts being made by the Modi government to rewrite history in its own image. How do you respond to this?
No, good evening, Rahul. You know, to call the moplah rebels as freedom fighters or martyrs is like calling the Taliban as freedom fighters and martyrs. And we know this, Rahul, don't we? That, you know, if the history were to be written by a few, many of them are in India right now, they would indeed call the Taliban as freedom fighters and martyrs. Look, the Moplah rebellion was jihad by another name, an attempt to convert Darul Harb to Darul Islam. And no one understood this better than Dr. Ambedkar himself. A country which is ruled by a kafir, said Ambedkar, is Darul Harb to a Muslim. The basic feelings of deference and sympathy which predispose persons to obey the authority of government do not simply exist, unquote. In the Moplah rebellion, it was Gandhi who pinched his nose and plunged into these murky waters of religious appeasement and terror. And it was Ambedkar who saw through Gandhi. And these records are not being unearthed right now, Rahul. They are 100 years old. The pity is all our successive governments have airbrushed them. So all these instances of quotes of Ambedkar and Gandhi are 100 years old. They exist. It's the fact that Indians have not been made to read them. The Muslims, he said, preached a doctrine that India under the British government was Darul Harab. I'm quoting Ambedkar now from his work. The aim was to establish the kingdom of Islam. Roads were blocked, telegraph lines cut, the railway destroyed in a number of places. Khilafat flags were flown, the Ernad and Valurana were declared Khilafat kingdoms. The Hindus were visited by a dire fate at the hands of the Moplahs, massacres, forcible conversions, desecration of temples, foul outrages upon women, such as ripping open pregnant women, pillage, arson and destruction. In short, all the accompaniments of brutal and unrestrained barbarism were perpetrated freely by the Moplahs upon the Hindus until such time as troops could be hurried to the task of restoring order through a difficult and extensive tract of the country. This was not a Hindu-Muslim riot, this was a massacre, unquote. To Ambedkar's horror, Gandhi laid the blame squarely on the Hindus. Hindus, he said, must find out the causes of Moplah fanaticism, agreeing that it was fanaticism. They will find that they are not without blame. They have hitherto not cared for the Moplahs, unquote. And Muslim leaders themselves agreed with Ambedkar, Rahul, that this was jihad. Maulana Hasrat Mohani, the eulogized freedom fighter and a friend of the Mahatma, and the one who had coined the slogan Inqilab Zindabad, justified the Moplah massacre of Hindus by saying this was Islamic jihad and that according to the rules of jihad, those who help the enemy, i.e. the British, become enemies themselves. Shockingly, Gandhi was conciliatory towards the Maulana. Quote, there is no greater nationalist nor a greater lover of Hindu-Muslim unity than the Maulana, he said. Even though, said Gandhi, it is more necessary for a Hindu to love the Moplah and the Muslim more when the latter is likely to injure him or has already injured him. Why should a single Hindu have run away on account of the Moplah's atrocities, unquote? This was sheer lunacy, Rahul, just 10 seconds. The Mahatma was beseeching the Hindus to hold their ground even as they were being hunted down and butchered. Honestly, Rahul, I'm telling you, we have paid such a heavy price for ignoring Ambedkar and eulogizing Mahatma Gandhi.
Well, that's one very interesting perspective, and I can tell you that, viewers, whatever Dr. Ranganathan has said is documented fact. You can please go and check books and other quotes, articles